Peace be upon you, my friend. I am Sheikh Yusuf, the Life Strategist, and today I'm going to tell you something so controversial, so disruptive, and so contrary to everything you have been taught in your places of worship that it may initially cause your ego to recoil in shock. But I want you to listen to me with the ears of a man who is ready to stop the cycle of struggle and step into the realm of absolute dominance. I am telling you now, stop praying to the infinite for money. Stop the begging, stop the pleading, and stop acting like a spiritual pauper who is trying to convince a stingy provider to throw a few crumbs in your direction. I know this sounds like a violation of everything you hold sacred, but as a life strategist who has spent over 50 years decoding the ancient teachings of the most successful merchants and dynastic leaders in history, I have seen that the man who begs for money is the man who repels it the hardest. You think you are being pious, but you are actually broadcasting a frequency of extreme lack. And the laws of sustained provision are built on the principle that the infinite only multiplies that which is already in a state of order and readiness. Today I am going to teach you the secret of the aligned vessel. I will show you why your prayers are currently falling silent and what you must do instead to ensure that wealth flows to you, not as a miracle, but as a biological and spiritual consequence of who you have become. For decades, I have watched men of great heart and sincere faith fail in the marketplace because they believed that asking was the key to receiving. They spent their nights in tears asking for their debts to be removed and their bank accounts to be filled. Yet when the sun rose, they returned to the same chaotic habits, the same biological lethargy, and the same psychological anchors that created the poverty in the first place. They were trying to use the Creator as a cosmic ATM machine to bypass the laws of character and discipline. They did not understand that the infinite is like an endless, high-voltage electric grid. It is always on, it is always providing, and it is always seeking a path to ground itself into the physical world. If your house is not wired correctly, if your breakers are flipped, and if your lines are corroded, it does not matter how much you beg the power plant to send you electricity. The power is already at your door, but it cannot enter a broken system. You do not need to pray for more power. You need to fix the internal architecture of your life so that the power can safely reside there. This is the difference between the beggar and the strategist. The beggar asks for the result without the process. The strategist builds the process that makes the result inevitable. Let us look at the beggar's paradox. When you pray from a place of desperation, when your voice is trembling with fear and your mind is focused on the bills you cannot pay, you are literally naming your poverty. In the ancient teachings, we learn that naming something is an act of creation. By saying, I need money, you are declaring, I do not have. You are anchoring your soul in the frequency of not enough. Since the universe only reflects the frequency you project, it responds with perfect accuracy by giving you more not enough. This is why things often get worse the harder you beg. You are deepening the neural and spiritual pathways of lack. The life strategist understands that the infinite is the source of all sustained provision, and that this provision is already 100% available. There is no shortage of gold, there is no shortage of opportunity, and there is no shortage of ideas in the unseen realm. The shortage is entirely in your capacity to steward the blessing. In the timeless wisdom of the early teachers, we find the law of capacity precedes provision. This means that God never funds confusion, and He never pours abundance into a vessel that is cracked or small. Imagine a man standing under a massive waterfall with a tiny thimble-sized cup. The waterfall is pouring thousands of gallons of pure, life-giving water every second. But the man is crying out, why am I only getting a drop? Why is the provider so stingy? The man doesn't need to pray for more water. He needs to throw away the thimble and build a reservoir. He needs to expand his capacity. Your current income is not an arbitrary number. It is a precise measurement of your current biological and psychological architecture. If you want $1 million provision, you must build $1 million man. This is what you must do. Instead of praying for money, you must perform a sacred audit of your internal order. The first pillar of this audit is the law of order and structure. Look at your life right now. Is your home in chaos? Is your desk covered in trash? Are your finances uncounted and messy? If you cannot manage the $1,000 you currently have with the precision of a jeweler, Why would the administrative forces of the universe trust you with 10,000 or 1,000,000? Provision flows to order like water flows downhill. I have sat with men who were worth 9 figures, and I noticed that their lives were built on a foundation of extreme, almost military structure. They knew every penny that entered and exited their vaults. They respected the unspoken rules of time and boundaries. They were not begging for luck. They were managing the sustained provision they already had with such high-level integrity that the universe was forced to give them more. When you create order in your environment, you are telling the source, I am a worthy steward. I have created a clean place for the abundance to land. This is the first practical step. Stop asking for more and start ordering what you have. Spend the next 7 days tracking every single cent. Clean every corner of your sanctuary. Reorder your daily rituals. This act of ordering is a far more powerful prayer than any words you could speak, because it is a prayer of action. It signals that you are ready for the weight of wealth. The second pillar is the law of integrity and the internal witness. Most of you are trying to manifest wealth while carrying the weight of small, hidden corruptions. You take shortcuts. You tell white lies in business. You break your word to yourself and to others. You think these things don't matter because everyone does it. But in the realm of high-frequency provision, every shortcut is a crack in the vessel. You are building your empire on a foundation of sand. The life strategist knows that the internal witness, the part of your subconscious that watches everything you do, is the ultimate regulator of your bank account. If your internal witness knows that you are a man who takes shortcuts, it will not allow you to possess great wealth because it knows you cannot sustain it. You will subconsciously sabotage every big deal because you don't feel worthy of the increase. You don't need to pray for God to bless your business. You need to act with such absolute integrity that your own soul gives you permission to be rich. When your word is law, your intentions become reality. This is why the most successful merchants in the ancient world were known for their unbreakable bond. They didn't need contracts. They had the frequency of truth. If you want to receive money immediately, start by being 100% honest in every transaction today. Do not hide the flaw in your product. Do not overpromise. Do not take the extra dollar that you didn't earn. This integrity creates a biological and spiritual solidity that attracts sustained provision like a magnet. The third pillar is the law of biological capital. We discussed this in our previous session, but I must reinforce it here. You cannot hold a high voltage life in a low voltage body. When you beg for wealth while consuming the food of lethargy and the food of impatience, you are a walking contradiction. You are asking for the energy of a king while living with the biology of a slave. The infinite provides the seed, but you must provide the soil. If your body is thick with toxins and your mind is clouded by sugar, you will not have the cognitive processing power to handle the complexity of wealth. Wealth is a high-pressure environment. It requires focus, it requires the ability to stay calm during a storm, and it requires long-term stamina. If you are biologically weak, you will inevitably push the wealth away to find rest. You will choose a small life because a large life is physically too demanding for your current vessel. Instead of praying for money, pray for the discipline to master your own flesh. When you show that you can control your appetite, you show that you can control your destiny. The provision will find the man who is awake, alert, and physically prepared to move when the door opens. Let us speak of the law of stewardship versus ownership. The biggest reason your prayers for money fail is that you are praying as an owner. You want the money for you. You want it for your comfort, your ego, and your status. This is a very small, very restricted frequency. The infinite does not provide for owners because ownership is a dead end. Provision flows through a vessel, not to a vessel. The life strategist views himself as a steward, a manager of resources that belong to the infinite. When you shift your mindset from how can I get rich to how much provision can I manage for the benefit of the world, the gates of abundance swing wide open. Why? Because you are no longer a destination, you are a channel. The universe wants to fund people who are going to circulate the resources with wisdom and order. If I am an investor Am I going to give my capital to a man who is going to hide it in a jar for his own comfort? Or am I going to give it to the merchant who is going to use it to build ships, create jobs, and expand the market? The infinite is the ultimate investor. He is looking for high-impact stewards. When you pray, you should be saying, Master of the universe, expand my capacity to manage your resources. Make me a man who can steward millions with integrity and wisdom. This is a prayer that the administrative forces of the universe cannot ignore, because you are asking to fulfill your purpose as a life strategist. You are offering your life as a vessel for the divine plan. Now I want to teach you the protocol of aligned action, the specific steps you must take to start receiving immediately. Step 1, the recognition of presence. Every morning when you wake up, instead of asking for what you lack, you will perform a provision scan. You will spend 10 minutes identifying every single piece of sustained provision already in your life. The air in your lungs, the roof over your head, the internet connection in your hand, the clothes on your back. Do not do this with a hopeful heart. Do it with a strategic mind. Realize that the provision is already here. You are already in the river. This shift in focus from lack to presence changes your biological frequency from a beggar to a manager. You are acknowledging the capital you already have. Step 2, the identification of the leak. And now ask yourself with total brutal honesty, if I were the infinite, why would I not give me $10 million today? Is it your lack of discipline? Is it your messy environment? Is it your history of broken promises? Is it your biological lethargy? Identify the leak in your vessel. Once you identify it, stop praying and start fixing. If the leak is a messy house, clean it. If the leak is a lack of skill, study. If the leak is an unhealthy body, fast. The act of fixing the leak is the most sincere prayer you can offer. It is a physical demonstration of your commitment to the increase. Step 3, the law of value projection. Wealth is simply the physical reflection of the value you project into the world. If you are not receiving money, it is because you are not projecting enough value, or you are projecting it to the wrong people. Instead of asking for money, ask, how can I become 10 times more valuable to the marketplace? What skill can you master that would make you indispensable? What problem can you solve that others are too lazy or too scared to touch? When you increase your internal value, the external provision is forced to match it by law. You cannot be a high-value vessel and remain poor. It is a violation of the order of the universe. The money is not the goal. The value is the goal. The money is just the shadow cast by the substance of your value. If you want a bigger shadow, you need a bigger substance. Step 4, the release of the how. When you pray for money, you often try to tell the infinite how it should come. You want it through a specific deal, a specific promotion, or a specific lottery. This is a sign of extreme arrogance and limited vision. You are trying to manage the manager. The life strategist knows that his job is to build the vessel and project the value. The how is the department of the provider. When you stop obsessing over the how, you stop the frantic, anxious energy that repels success. You remain in a state of stoic expectation. You do the work, you order your life, and you wait with the absolute certainty that the provision will arrive in its own time and in its own way. This certainty is the frequency of the elite. It is the calm of a man who knows the law of the harvest is working. I want to tell you a story of a student of mine. He was a man who had spent 20 years in a state of financial struggle. He was a prayer warrior. He spent hours in the mosque or at home begging for a breakthrough. He was a good man, but he was a man in chaos. His home was a mess, his health was failing, and he was constantly looking for shortcuts to get ahead. He came to me and said, Sheikh Yusuf, I have prayed until my voice is gone. Why does God ignore me? I looked at his messy clothes, his shaky hands, and his frantic eyes, and I said, He is not ignoring you. He is waiting for you to become a person He can talk to. You are currently a chaotic noise. You are asking for a kingdom while living like a refugee of your own discipline. Go home, clean your house, stop eating sugar, and do not ask for a single penny for 30 days. Just order your life. He was angry. He felt I was being unspiritual. But he was at the end of his rope, so he did it. He stopped the begging prayers. He focused entirely on the architecture of the vessel. He cleaned his environment. He started a strict biological protocol. He began tracking his tiny income with the precision of an accountant. He started projecting value in his small job that he had previously neglected. By the third week, he called me. He was calm. He said, "Sheikh Yusuf, for the first time in my life, I don't feel desperate. I feel..." That same week, an old contact who he hadn't spoken to in 5 years reached out with a partnership offer. It wasn't a miracle from the sky. It was a consequence of his new frequency. The contact said, "I saw your recent work and I noticed a change in your energy. You seem more focused, more solid. I have a project that needs someone I can trust." That partnership turned into a multi-million-dollar venture. He didn't get rich because he asked harder. He got rich because he stopped asking and started being a man that wealth could finally find. You must understand that the infinite is always in a state of yes. There is no no in the divine provision. The only thing that stops the yes is your own no. The no of your chaos, the no of your corruption, and the no of your lethargy. When you remove your own no, the divine yes flows in automatically. This is why I say, stop praying for money. The money is already there. Pray for the strength to be disciplined. Pray for the wisdom to be ordered. Pray for the courage to be honest. And then move your feet. The ancient teachings tell us that the blessing of the provider makes a man rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Sorrow comes when wealth is built on a broken foundation. It comes when you hustle through corruption and lack of order. But when you build according to the Life Strategist blueprint, the wealth is clean. It has no weight. It brings peace, not anxiety. This is the sustained provision we seek. To expand on this, for those who are ready for the highest levels of dominance, let us speak of the merchant's meditation of the vault. In the old trade routes, the master merchant would spend a few minutes each day imagining his vault. He wouldn't imagine the gold inside it. He would imagine the strength of the vault itself. He would imagine the heavy iron doors, the precise locks, and the solid stone walls. He knew that the gold would find its way to a strong vault. He focused on the security and the integrity of the container. This is how you must view your life. You are the vault. If the vault is strong, the gold is safe. If the vault is weak, the gold is a danger to you. Most of you are trying to put gold into a cardboard box and wondering why the thieves of life keep stealing it. Strengthen the walls of your character. Harden the locks of your discipline. The gold is already on its way. It is just waiting for a safe place to land. Let us also discuss the biology of belief. When you pray from lack, you are triggering a stress response in your body. Your cortisol rises, your tunnel vision narrows, and you enter a state of survival. In a survival state, you cannot be a strategist. You cannot see the long-term moves. You are only thinking about the next hour. This is the biological trap of poverty. But when you stop begging and start ordering, your nervous system enters a state of high-frequency calm. Your brain opens up. Your creativity spikes. You begin to see patterns and opportunities that were invisible to you when you were in survival mode. You literally become smarter as a result of your discipline. This is the competitive advantage of the life strategist. You are outthinking your competition because your biology is not being hijacked by the panic of lack. You are operating from the sovereign table. I want to challenge you right now. For the next 30 days, you will observe the law of silence regarding need. You will not tell anyone you are struggling. You will not tell anyone you need money. You will not even tell the Creator that you need money. Instead, you will wake up every morning and say, "Master of the universe, I thank you for the provision that is already on its way. I am here to fulfill my role as a steward. Show me where the leaks are in my vessel and give me the strength to fix them. I am a man of order, integrity and value." And then you will spend the rest of the day acting as if that provision has already arrived. You will clean your house as if a king were coming to visit. You will manage your tiny bank account as if it were a trust fund for a nation. You will treat your body as if it were the most valuable asset in the world, which it is. You will project value into the marketplace without worrying about the immediate return. You will notice a shift in your reality by the 14th day. This is not a magic trick. It is the natural consequence of moving from a beggar frequency to a manager frequency. The universe responds to what you are, not what you want. You want to be rich? Stop being a person who is wanting and start being a person who is providing. Provide order to your house. Provide discipline to your body. Provide value to your clients. Provide integrity to your word. When you are a source of provision for others, the infinite becomes an unlimited source of provision for you. It is a closed loop of sustained abundance. The merchant's law states that you cannot keep what you have not earned through character. If a lottery winner hasn't built the vessel of a millionaire, he will be a pauper again within 5 years. The money will leak through his lack of order and his lack of biological discipline. Do not seek the money first. Seek the character that can hold the money. When you have the character, the money is inevitable. When you have the money without the character, the money is a curse. I am Sheikh Yusuf, and I am here to help you build the character of a giant. I am here to help you construct a life that can handle the weight of an empire. But you must be willing to let go of your poverty rituals. You must be willing to stop the begging and start the building. I want you to go into the comments right now and write these words: I am a steward of the infinite. By writing that, you are performing a ritual of alignment. You are declaring that you are no longer an owner who is trying to hoard, but a manager who is ready to circulate the resources of the provider with wisdom and strength. Subscribe to this channel, because next week I am going to teach you the protocol of the hidden hand. How to move in the marketplace without revealing your plans to the eye of judgment. The world is waiting for men of order. The marketplace is starving for men of integrity. The infinite is looking for vessels of capacity. Be that man. Stop the noise. Quiet your soul. Fix your vessel. And watch as the sea of provision parts before you. Many people spend their whole lives looking for the key to wealth. They look in books, they look in seminars, and they look in the prayers of others. But the key is in your hand. It is the key to your own discipline. Turn the key. Open the door. The provision is already standing there, waiting for you to invite it in with the language of order. Your soul is the blueprint, and your life is the construction. I have given you the strategy. Now you must provide the execution. Do not let me down. Do not let the provider find a broken vessel when he is ready to pour. Clean the house. Fix the biology. Stand in the truth. Peace be upon you, my friend. We are building a fortress of substance. One day, you will look back at your time of begging and you will smile, because you will realize that the source was never hiding from you. You were hiding from the source behind a wall of your own chaos. Tear down the wall today. Move into the light of sustained provision. I will see you in the sanctuary of success. Peace. And remember, the silence of a man who is ordering his life is the loudest prayer in heaven. If you want to be heard, stop shouting and start building. The administrative forces of the universe are watching your discipline, not your lips. Be the vessel. Now,